Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. If you're joining me at this very moment, hope you've had a good day so far. If you're looking at this, tuning in through the archives, I hope you have a good practice also. This afternoon, in this practice we'll be doing the Hatha flow. That's more of an intermediate orientated practice. So please mindfully apply, feel free to play around, but no pressure, no force. If you ever feel like you've gone too far, just come back a step and then work from there. To begin, be in any comfortable seated position, any meditative position that is best for you, with your primary awareness of lifting the spine, so sitting as tall as you can. If this feels good, you can adopt a mudra, your hand gesture, thumb and index finger together, one hand resting on top of the other. There are two such variations. With the spine lifted, eyes lightly closed, mouth closed. Now let's take a moment to settle and to arrive. As you work towards creating a little space for yourself and space for your practice. And be aware within this space you're endeavouring to create. You're not trying to push away, you're not trying to resist any thoughts. Instead, we'll just encourage a shift of the awareness, a shift of our focus. As you take a brief moment to check in, how does the physical body feel? Any areas of discomfort, of holding, giving any tension your attention. When you've made your way through the physical body, there's no rush in doing so. Drop into a mental inquiry of how am I feeling? As you come to your practice, how has your day been so far? How is that influencing the mind? What's the condition of the mind? Just notice. And with this attuned awareness of both the physical body and the mind, we'll draw the attention upon the breath, with the intention of just simply witnessing and experiencing how the breath moves through the body and the body's response. As you allow your awareness to rest at the very center of the belly. And just tune into the reaction here. Perhaps you can feel and experience how the belly rises on the inhale and how the belly falls on the exhale. As the belly rises, mentally repeat, breathing in. As the belly falls, breathing out. And continue with this awareness for a few moments. Belly rises, breathing in. The belly falls, breathing out. The mind wanders, being patient, being compassionate with yourself. Each time bring it back to the belly. Belly rises, breathing in. Belly falls, breathing out. Namaste mudra. If it's comfortable for you, palms lightly press in front of the chest. As you take a moment to set an intention, your sankalpa, or dedication for your practice. Release your hands. Chin towards the chest. A few gentle blinks, opening the eyes. Namaste. We'll softly raise the knees up. Maintain the legs crossed over as best you can. We'll draw the thighs in a little closer towards the chest. Feels good, go for a clasp of a wrist or a forearm. Very comfortable with the spine lifting, raising one foot. Very comfortable raising the other foot. Finding a little balance on the buttock muscles, but don't force, no fight. If you haven't already done so, begin to put that conscious effort into your breathing. If you're familiar and you're comfortable playing around with your Ujjayi breath for the entirety of the practice. All is well here. Softly drop your chin towards your chest. No pressure along the neck. Just notice the body's reaction, allowing the breath to flow. Beautiful. Now you can remain as you are. If necessary, you can ground the feet. But if all is well, you maintain the feet up. Release the clasp of the hands. Extend the arms in line with the ears, working towards this alignment. Palms to press. Feels good now. Slightly turn the gaze upward, with the intention of eventually looking at the thumbs. If this is very challenging for the neck or the shoulders, the arms can be as low as you need to. The feet can be grounded. Recognize the steps. Build your practice from there. Breathe. Exhale, release your hands, release your feet, and gently come to standing, whichever way is necessary for you. Coming all the way up, we'll work towards the front edge of the mat, so the short edge of the mat, a foot's distance or so from the front of the mat, feet together, toes and heels to touch. Coming to Tadasana, so your mountain pose. Take a moment to set up, so shift the weight around the feet. The intention is sharing the weight evenly in all four directions. Recognize where you habitually hold your hands. They come in front of your thighs. Can you have them slightly to the side of your thighs? Helping the shoulders to roll open a little. Gaze front, chin sits a little back. A long and steady breath. Feel the even weight that you're endeavoring to share. Preparing for a few gentle rounds of your sun salutation. Coordinate breath to movement as best you can, but no force. Breathe as much as you need to. Namaste, Asana. Palms to press in front of the chest. Inhale, exhale. Inhale without disturbing much. Smoothly extend the arms. In line with the ears if you can. A gentle bend in the knees. Tuck the pelvic. Slight back bend. Your next exhale, palms to face front. Work front from the hip. Bend in the knees as you need to. Fold deeply. Hands either side of the feet, whether your fingertips or the palms. Then release the head. Your next inhale, step the right leg back. Quite a good distance. Ground the knee on top of the toes. Pressurize the top of the right foot. Your next exhale, tuck the toes, lift the knee. The left mid right. Dvaipada, the plank pose. Retain the breath out if you can. Knees, squeeze the elbows close. The belly, the chest, the forehead. Actively roll the shoulders. Hips slightly touch up and back. Your next inhale, lift the head, gaze front. Shift front a little first. Then raise head and chest. Roll the shoulder on top of the toes. Your next exhale, tuck the toes. Bend the knee. Push the hip up and back. Buddhasana. And be here for a few steady breaths. If it becomes challenging, please do ground the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale the right, all the way front. One smooth step if you get stuck. Helping hand as you need to. Knee over the ankle. Ground the left knee on top of the toes, gazes front. Pressurize top of the left foot now. Your next exhale, tuck the toes. No rush in getting there, left knee right, folding deeply. Hands either side of the feet, release the head. A good bend of the knee. Arm in line with the ears, palms to face. Inhale, smoothly coming up. Keep the knees soft, palms to press. Gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, Urdhva. Extend it well, slight bend in the knees, tuck the pelvic, gentle back bend. Exhale, palms to face front, work front from the hip. Hands either side of the feet, release the head. Inhale the left leg back, good distance, ground the knee on top of the toes, gaze front. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the knee, right knee left, Dvaipada. Retain the breath out, knees, elbows close. belly, torso, forehead, roll the shoulder, hips slightly up and back. Next inhale, lift the head. Raise to Bhujangasana, shoulders still rolled and tuck the toes. Exhale, tuck the toes. Bending at the knee, push the hip up and back. Buddhasana. Be here for a few breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale the left all the way front. One smooth step or a helping hand. Take the time to get all the way there. Ground the right knee and tuck the toes. Gaze front. Exhale, tuck the toes. Right knee left. Feet together. Fold deeply. Release the head. That good bend in the knee. Arm in line with the ears. Inhale. Feel and work all the way up. Keep the palms apart until you come to the top. Then palms to press. Tuck the pelvic. Gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana, Namaste. Inhale, exhale, inhale, Urdhva. Bend the knees, slight back bend. Exhale, work front from the hip. Inhale the right, ground the knee on top the toes. Exhale, Dvipada. Hold the breath out, knees, torso, forehead rolling the shoulders, slightly tuck the hip. Inhale, raise to Bhujangasana on top the toes. Exhale, Buddhasana. Push the hip up and back, maintain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale the right, all the way front. Take the time to get there. Ground the left knee on top the toes. Gaze front. Exhale, tuck the toes. Left knee, right feet together, folding deeply. Good bend in the knee, arm in line with the ears. Inhale, feel and work all the way up. Keep the knees a little bent. Slight back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, working front. Inhale, left. Exhale, Dvipada. Maintain the breath out. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Buddhasana. And be here. Well, don't fight. Please be with your practice so you can take rest at any moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale the left. All the way there. Ground the right knee on top the toes. Exhale, falling deeply. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, Tadasana. Padangustasana, the forward fold. So good distance between the feet. Shoulder distance or wider. Toes pointing ahead. Hands on the hips. Have the knees a little soft. Take an inhale. As you exhale, work front from the hip line. Smoothly feel it work. Choose a depth that's appropriate for you. If it feels good, release your hands. Grab the big toes, middle finger, index and thumb. Palm to face. Inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. Exhale, work front from the hip. No fight for depth. A long and steady breath. Each exhale,
working a little deeper. Beautiful. Next inhale, lift the head, concave the back slightly, gaze front. Release your hands to be in front of your feet, fingertips. Then edge your feet together, heel toe your feet together as best you can. Your hands can remain as they are, or you can bring your hands to be directly in front of your feet, about a foot's distance, fingertips or the palms. Choose which is best for you. You can maintain this alignment with the hands. If it feels steady, however, bring your left hand to support the left ankle. This feels good, raise the right heel. All is well. Extend the right leg back, straighten the leg, playing around big on the toes. If it feels steady, raise the right foot a small distance, and all is well, you can play around raising it towards your comfortable edge. I'll be here for a few steady breaths, working with squaring the hip as best you can. Focus completely on a point. Breathe. Exhale, with care, bring the right back to meet the left, no force. If you brought the left hand to the left ankle, return the left hand in front, fingertips or the palms, choose which is appropriate. Feel steady, the right hand now comes to the right ankle. Raise the left heel, extend the leg back, in your own time raise the foot a little, all is well, explore height. Feel where the weight has been shared on the right foot. Often the weight wants to shift to the outer edge of the foot. It's best you can't share it evenly. Keep the outer edge or the inner edge even, or the big toe grounding, ball of the foot grounding. Breathe long and steady. Exhale, smoothly release. The left meet the right. All is well here. Take the hands to be either side of the feet if you can. Fingertips to the palm. Exhale, fold deeply for a brief moment. Your next inhale, lift the head, concave the back. You can take the hands to be a little front here. The intention is keeping the knee almost over the ankle, leaning back and then bending at the knee, to the point that you can almost maintain knee over ankle. If this feels steady, extend your arms in line with your ears. We're going to maintain the alignment of the lower limbs, and you're going to raise your torso into Utkatasana, the chair pose. If this is very challenging or demanding, come up as much as you need to. A little practice, you're working for depth. Knee over the ankle. Spine is lengthening. Sternum is drawn back. Just a few breaths. Next inhale, lengthen it tall. Stand as tall as you can. Arm in line with the ear. Sternum maintain back. If it's challenging, have the arms as low as you need to. Down by the side of the body if required. Feels good. You're mindfully applying. Maintain the arms extending. Your next exhale, fold to the right from the waist. Folding from the waist, keep the hips squaring and the sternum back, so ribs a little back. Inhale back to center, shoulders work down the back, sternum is a little back. Next exhale, work to the left from the waist. Mindful you're not dropping the head, keep the head at mid-level. Notice the reaction on the right side of the body, working from the side of the right hip, working up the side of the body. If you feel it more in the front of your back, it's a suggestion you're likely twisting, and work more with drawing the sternum a little further back. Inhale smoothly back. Maintain the arms lengthening. Take the feet to be as wide as your shoulders, if not a little wider. This is good. Put quite a generous bend in the knee. All is well here.
Tuck the pelvis, slightly drawing the lower belly, and we'll maintain this length in the spine initially. Just a few breaths. No force in the neck, no force in the shoulder. Now if this feels steady, maintain this tuck of the pelvis and it's a slight lean back. So recognize that you're not arching. And maintain the length in the spine. Focus on bending the knee and tuck of the pelvis. Mindful you're not straightening the legs. Knee bent, pelvis tuck. Feels good. Slight lean back. A gentle gaze upward, you're not gazing towards the thumb. Next inhale, come back nice and tall, really lengthen it. As you exhale, if you have the space, release your hands out to the side. Flip the palms to face front and take the hands behind, bringing the heel of the palm onto the back of the hips, the upper buttock muscles, fingers pointing down, elbows work towards each other. If you have any sensitivity in the lower back, any sensitivity in the neck, throughout this practice or at this moment, please work a little easier, recognize the steps we'll take. So good, bending the knee. Just like a previous moment ago. Similar to the last posture, we're going to tuck the pelvis under. Now if this feels good, you can begin to feel an arch into Ardha Chakrasana, or Ardha Chakrasana rather. Keep the elbows working towards each other. Keep tucking the pelvis and notice there's a still bend in the knee. Very comfortable, even no strain in your neck whatsoever, and it's part of your practice. Smoothly keep the chest expanding and release the head. But don't close the eyes. Breathe. Beautiful. If you release the head, bring the head about halfway back first. Then as you inhale, form through the feet, come all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. Feet together, toes and heels to touch, sternum back, chin a little back. And then we'll turn to the long edge of your mat. So whichever the side is best for you, turning to the long edge and stepping the feet 3.5 to 4 foot apart. It's quite a generous distance, Utthita Hasta distance. Heels in line and the feet parallel. Extend the arms shoulder height. At any moment you feel there's a lot of fatigue in your shoulders, just take rest. Release the hands to the hip. Feels good, however. Flip your palm to face the ceiling. And as you inhale, bring the arms in line with the earth. Really extend it and lengthen it. Recognize as you raise your arms, does your chest push front? Does your sternum push front? Draw the sternum back. If necessary, arms come lower in front. Beautiful. Now you can remain as you are. But if this feels good, without disturbing the heels, turn your left toes in a little. Pivot on your right heel. Point your right toes all the way out, pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Draw the left hip around. Square the hip and square the shoulder. Feel steady here, bending of the right knee. The intention is the knee over the ankle and the thigh working almost parallel to the mat. If your knee goes beyond the ankle with ease, perhaps you consider increasing the distance between the feet or work with a shorter stance. Build towards the wider. Very comfortably, lightly gazing upward, but no pressure on the neck. Super. If you're gazing up, have the gaze ahead. As you exhale, release hands out to the side. Release the hands to the hips and simultaneously straighten the right leg. Hands on the hips, clasp opposite elbow, forearm or wrist, or perhaps you bring the hands into reverse prayer position. But don't fight for that, mindful of the reaction of the wrist. Your next exhale, folding deeply over the right leg. Now the intention as you fold is keeping the hips squaring as if you were upright and maintaining almost even weight in the feet. If you find that there's a challenge on the right knee, you feel the sensitivity here, a lot of work, come back up as much as you need to. Share the weight more with the left. Feels good.
Work towards your comfortable edge. Inhale, length. Exhale, depth. Super. Next inhale, no rush, steady through the feet, coming all the way up. Simultaneously release the hands from behind. Re-bending the right knee, knee over the ankle, extending the arms into Virabhadrasana A, the warrior one. Then all is well here, allow to stirring much through the lower limbs, wheel the arms around to Virabhadrasana B, the warrior two. So the left hip is drawing back, sternum is back, and the left shoulder comes lightly back. Arms extended out from the shoulders. Left fingertips or right fingertips work in a straight line. Very comfortable, your gaze over the right middle finger. If any challenge in the neck, keep the gaze front. Feels good, gaze to your right. That good bend in the knee, thigh almost working towards parallel. Breathe long and soft. Super, inhale, straighten the right leg. Feet back parallel, make sure heels are still in line, flip the palms to face the ceiling. Bring the arms in line with the ears. The sternum is back. No pressure on the shoulder, particularly no pressure on the neck. Beautiful. Now the right toes turn in slightly. Try not to disturb the heels as best you can. Left toes, pivot on the left heel even. Left toes point towards the back edge of your mat now. Draw the right hip around. Square the hip and square the shoulders. Feel steady, that good bend in the left knee. Knee over ankle if you can. Thigh, almost parallel to the mat. Both arms extending if it's a challenge. Arms lower, still a challenge or uncomfortable or need to take rest. Hands to the hips. Very comfortable. Lightly gaze to the top. Just feel your practice. Notice the body's reaction. Noticing the difference between both sides. Super. Gaze straight ahead if you looked up. Next exhale, release hands out to the side. Simultaneously straighten the right, the left leg. Hands to the hips. Opposite wrist form or elbow. Or reverse prayer behind the back. Choose which is best. Next exhale, keep the hips squaring as best you can. Then work front. Noticing perhaps you can go to a greater depth on one side in comparison to the other. And this can vary from practice to practice. Just feel and work. Breathe. Inhale, smoothly coming up. As you exhale, softly release the hands and rebend the front leg, rebend the left knee. Extend the arms in line with the ears. Maintain this good bend in the left knee as best you can. As you inhale, wheel your arms open into Virabhadrasana B or Warrior 2. So the right hip is drawing back, the shoulders drawing back, opening up the chest to face towards the right side. Keeping the arms shoulder height. Feels good, gaze look over the left middle finger. Even weight between the feet. Long and steady breath. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Feet back to parallel, making sure the heels are in line. Flip your palms to face back and extend your arms behind you as best you can. Bend the elbows if you need to interlace the fingers. Then really roll the shoulder, knees a little bent. As you exhale, work front from the hip. Almost leading with the chest, keep the gaze a little front if it's comfortable for the neck. Work towards parallel, you can be here. If it feels good and it's within your practice, working beyond parallel, the eventual intention bringing the head to be in line with the feet, bringing the arms up and over till they come to the ground. Now don't fight for depth, breathe really well. That even weight between the feet is one of your intentions. Light engagement, base of pelvic and lower belly, and with each exhale, little depth is explored. Keep the shoulder rolling, keep the chest expanding. Next inhale, bring the torso parallel to the mat. As you exhale, hands to the hips. And you can release the fingertips to your mat. Turn your left toes in a little. Pivot on your right toes, right heel rather. Right foot towards the front of the mat. Start to walk towards your right. Your hands towards your right even. Pivot on your left toes. Then extend or slide or walk, whichever is necessary for you. The right back to meet the left into Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. If you need to take rest, please do so. You can ground the knees, come into the resting warrior. If you're mindfully applying in your practice, you're up. Breathe really well. Almost even weight between the feet. Feet are shoulder distance apart now. Toes almost in line with the wrist. Beautiful. Now from here, if necessary, you can bring the feet together and you can come into the one-legged downward facing dog, beginning with the right leg. But if you're just playing around with your practice and it's accessible, raise the right foot up slightly, then turn the right toes to face the left foot and ground the outer edge of the right foot with the intention of the heel being in line with the wrist. The first variation is you can step the left foot front halfway up the mat, keep the hip lifting, and you can work from here. If this feels steady, however, the left foot is stacking on top of the right, hips slightly lifted, straight line, pushing away the mat lightly, no force in the right shoulder, very steady. Extend the left arm up. It feels good, gaze to the hand. Breathe really well. Superb. Exhale, softly roll in. Run the left hand, stepping the left foot back to one side, followed with the right. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Remembering rest is welcome at any moment. Feels good, you're up. Even weight is the intention between the hands and the feet. Long and steady breath. Very comfortable, balancing your practice. Choose an appropriate variation. All is well. Left foot out, stacking, running the outer edge, heel in line with the left wrist. Extending the right arm up to the ceiling if very comfortable. You're aware you can step the right foot front if required. Very steady, gaze lightly to the right hand. Next exhale, softly rolling from whichever variation you're in. Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. Breathe really well. Next inhale, softly shift your shoulders over the wrist. The intention is a straight line from the heel to the head. Often if we have our hands on our feet too close in the downward facing dog, when we come into the plank pose, our hips will be high. So as best you can, a good distance between the hands and the feet. Straight line almost between the heel to the head. Sternum slightly drawn back. Engage more to the base, pelvic and lower belly. Breathe. Now you're welcome to come down whichever way is necessary for you. You can ground the knees if required. If you're familiar and comfortable,
Chaturanga, smoothly coming down. But don't fight. Once you're firmly grounded on top to toes, feet together, toes and heels to touch, hands down by the sides of the body. Now if you have any weakness or discomfort in the lower back throughout this practice afternoon at this moment, perhaps your hands are slightly underneath the thighs and you're just working on raising the head and the chest. If comfortable, however, we can play around with the full variation of the locust pose, raising the head, the chest and the legs, and an option of the hands down by the sides of the body. Lower body is active. Choosing a variation that's appropriate for you. As you inhale, roll the shoulder, raise the head, raise the chest. Very comfortable, raise the legs, still good. Extend the hands over the sides of the body. The gaze front. But please note that you're not dropping the back of the head towards the upper back, creating pressure on the back of the neck. Drop the chin as you need to. Breathe really well. This feels good. Bringing the hands to be either side of the chest. Keep the palms up if you can. Recognize the shoulders are still rolling. There's still beautiful expansion in the chest. Long and steady breath, but don't fight. Exhale, coming down. Smoothly down. As you ground, take your feet to be as wide as your hips, if not a little wider. Hands either side of the chest. You're welcome to come up and back in whichever way is required for you. Little practice as you inhale, raise head and chest and roll the shoulders. Further practice, keep the elbows coming towards the body. Use the hands to push up through the chest and the lower belly. Feels good. Pressure as the tops of the feet and the knees also raised. Roll the shoulder. No pressure on the neck. Light gaze up. Your next exhale, ground the knees. Tuck the toes, bending the knees generously. Push the hip up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog. Or taking rest, don't fight. Beautiful. Bend the knees, whichever way is necessary for you. You can hop at the start of your practice, bringing one leg front at a time, crossing the legs over and come into a seated position. As I don't have the adequate space, I have to readjust. As the intention from here is coming into Halasana. If you're unfamiliar, please have a quick look up first. I'll give the variation for Halasana and then the full variation. The variation for Halasana is simply just lying softly on your back. If you have any challenge in the lower back or the neck, perhaps this is the point that you're coming to. You can have a bend in the knees as you need to. Little practice towards straighter legs and hand support underneath the buttock muscles as you need to. But don't fight. If all is well through the back of the body, particularly the neck and the lower back, the full variation of Halasana. As you inhale, smoothly rolling back, pressurizing the forearm and the hands into the mat, bringing the legs up overhead and behind. The eventual intention is straighter legs. If necessary, bend the knee. If required, feet apart. You can also use support here. Heel of the palm coming towards the base of the shoulder blade. Fingers pointing upward, elbows working towards each other. If you're in the full variation, so you can choose which one is appropriate for you. If you're in the full variation of Halasana, please keep the head nice and steady. Not rolling your head side to side. I know that may be a challenge if you're trying to look at me on a screen. But as best you can, take note before you come in. Keep the neck steady, work towards straighter legs but don't jerk. Keep that soft engagement through the base of the pelvic and lower belly. Breathe really well. As you be there and breathe, if you're in the full variation of Halasana, as you engage through the base of the pelvic and the lower belly, the breath's going to occur more in the middle and upper lobes of the lungs. You can really experience it here through the upper back and beautiful expansion in the chest. All is well here. If you're using the hand support, release the hands, the palms to face down, fingers point towards the front edge of your mat. The intention is coming to Paschimottanasana, the forward fold, for a brief moment. Likewise, if you're like on your back, a light bend in the knees and it'll be a gentle rock up. On your next exhale, bend at the knees. If you're in full variation, smoothly rock front. And come into Paschimottanasana, folding deeply. As you inhale, gently up. Push the forearm into the mat, lie flat on your back, or come into Halasana. Exhale, smoothly come front, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, grounding the palms, the forearm, the elbow, Halasana. Please do move with the breath. Make sure you're inhaling as you come back. Inhale, Paschimottanasana. Smoothly back into Halasana. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, Halasana. But don't fight, note your body's reaction. Exhale, Paschimottanasana, falling deeply. And be there for a moment. Maintain it in forward fold. If this is challenging for you, if there's a lot of tightness through the back of the body, you can have a bend in the knees and you can be working front from here, working towards grabbing the toes, but don't fight for depth. Feels good, you're working to straighter legs. Few variations, if you're at the feet, you can be grabbing the big toes, middle finger, index and thumb, folding from here, placing the hands over the feet, or hooking the hands around the feet, choosing which is appropriate for you. If your hands are not coming to your feet, allow your hands to be wherever they are with ease. That may be your thighs, maybe your shins. Allow your shoulders to relax. Inhale, there's length. Exhale, there's depth. Inhale, length. Exhale, depth. But you're never fighting. Notice that you're not tensing up through the neck to fold deeply. Think of the engagement through base of pelvic, lower belly, folding from the hip. Beautiful. No matter where you are, as best you can, if it's no challenge in your shoulder or neck, extend your arms in line to your ears, palms to face. Inhale, coming all the way up. Really lengthen it. Exhale, release the hands. Maintain a lifted spine as best you can. A few variations, bending the right knee. The first option is placing the right foot inside edge of the left thigh with the foot grounded. If this is relatively accessible for you, noting the reaction through the hip or the knee and then the hip, perhaps you raise the right heel up, raise the right foot up even, with support of both hands, bring the heel just below the navel. Trying to place the top of the right foot on the left thigh and the knee working to ground. It's okay if it doesn't come to ground, but don't fight, no pressure through the knee. Left leg is very active. This is good no matter which variation you're choosing. Exhale, folding over the left leg. Keep the gaze a little front. As you inhale, smoothly back. All is well here, triangle mukha. So you want to point the toes back as best you can. The eventual intention is having the knee working a little straighter and closer to the left leg. If required, opening up the knee wide. Your left hand can maintain on the left side of the leg to keep you centered. As you exhale, fold front, reach with the right hand outside of the left foot, fold deeply. Inhale, smoothly back, releasing the right leg. Ardha Padma, where we were just a brief moment ago, choose a variation, folding deeply. Inhale, back. Exhale, triangle mukha, but don't fight for that. Inhale, back. Exhale, Ardha Padma. Inhale, back. Exhale, triangle mukha. Inhale, back. Exhale, Ardha Padma. And be there for a moment. Working to the depth that's comfortable for you. Not fighting to keep the right foot on top of the left thigh. Recognize the reaction in the knee. If there's any rigidity in the hip or if there's a little stiffness here at this moment, maybe you go for the first variation. Like the previous forward folding Paschimottanasana, inhale there's length and exhale there's depth. But you're not jerking for it. Breathe. Each exhale, a little further depth is explored. Beautiful. Inhale back. Exhale, Triangle Mukha. Falling deeply. The right hand can reach outside of the left foot, or the shin, or the thigh. Left arm keeps you centered. Recognize if you're rolling to the left side. Little practice, working centered. Each inhale is length. Each exhale is depth. Mindful you're not jerking. If you jerk, sudden pressure comes on the knee. Breathe. Inhale back. If it's accessible for you, maintain the alignment of your right knee with the leg folded behind, but we'll open up the right leg to the side, creating almost a 90 degree between the both legs. If this presents a challenge, you can be in the original posture of the right foot, resting against the left thigh with the foot grounded. So choose which is best. Lifting the spine, getting a little twisted to your right. You can be here. If it feels good, however, maintain this opening the chest, left hand inside edge of the left thigh, or the shin, or the calf muscle, palm faces up. Gazes to your right, the right hand to the right hip. Feel steady, right arm in line with your palms down. As you exhale, fold to the left from the waist. As you fold, keep this chest opening. Maintain this beautiful twist. If it's accessible, the hands come to the left foot. If you're grabbing the left foot with the left hand, see if you can ground the elbow first. Bring the right arm up and over. Gaze underneath the armpit if it's comfortable for the neck, but don't fight. Gaze side or down if necessary. Inhale smoothly back, come all the way up into a twist. Exhale through the center and bring the right leg even back. Smoothly extend the right leg front. Changing sides, and please be aware each side can be different, so I'm not fighting for equal depth. Bending the left knee, please note you can have the left foot inside of the right thigh if necessary. Little practice, raise the foot up and you can heel below the navel, it's pressurizing just below the navel. Top of the foot is resting on the thigh and the knee is working towards the ground, but you're not pressurizing to get there. The right leg stays very active. Exhale, fold deeply within your element. Inhale, smoothly back. Exhale, Triangle Mukha, folding the leg behind, knee up to the side if necessary. Use the right hand for support as you reach with the left hand towards the right foot. Inhale, back. Exhale, Ardha Padma. Inhale, back. Exhale, Triangle Mukha. Inhale. Exhale, Ardha Padma, but don't fight. Inhale. Exhale, Triangle Mukha. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And be there. Breathe really well. Observe and notice the difference between both sides. The reaction, the back of the right leg now, through the hamstring, through the back of the knee into the calf muscle. Can you lightly push the right heel away, toes draw back towards you, and know that's a challenge. Notice the reaction in the left knee, no force here, and the reaction in the hip to lower back. Inhale, there's length. Exhale, there's depth.
to whichever degree is achievable for you. No force. Inhale back. Exhale, triangle mukha as best you can. Right hand for support, folding deeply. Reach with the left hand outside of the right foot if you can, helping the shoulder to come around, but don't fight. Grabbing the shin or the thigh. Choose and be at the depth that's best for you. Each exhale a little deeper. Inhale back. If it's achievable for you, maintain the left leg in the alignment that's in, but open the knee out to the side, creating that 90-degree angle as best you can. We'll revert back to one of the early variations if necessary. Spine is lifted. Get a little twisted to your left. Maintain this beautiful twist as best you can. Right hand, palm faces up, inside edge of the left leg. Left hand can now come to the hip, in line with the ear. Feel steady hinge to the right from the waist. Reach the hands towards the feet. If the right hand comes to the foot, ground the elbow first. Left hand up and over. Any challenge of the neck is side or down, feels good underneath the left armpit. Inhale smoothly back into a little twist. Exhale through the center. All is well here. Bringing the left leg back. As you bring it back, keep the bend in the knee. Ground the left foot about halfway away from the body from being fully extended. Then all is well here. Bend the right foot. Bend the right knee even and ground the right foot. About hips distance apart, maybe a little wider, at the same distance as the left is away from the body. All is well here. You measure about a forearm's distance from the hip. So if you place your wrist next to your hip where your elbow lands about forearm's distance. Heel of the palm is here, fingers pointing towards the feet, or for me, personal preference is fingers pointing away. You can choose which is best for you. The intention is pushing the hips up. If you've sudden pressure on the wrists and this is challenging, maybe the hands are a little too close, you can come down and take the hands a little further away. This feels good. Pressurize your feet, inhale, raise the hip up a little. You can just explore what it's like being here, taking weight into the hands and the feet. Further practice. You push the hip a little more. Base of pelvic, buttock muscle lightly active. A little further, a little further, a little further. Come into the tabletop. But there's no fight to be here. If it's comfortable for your neck and as part of your practice, you can play around releasing the head back. But don't fight for that. Breathe. Keeping the hip lifting, no pressure on the wrist. Beautiful. Bringing the head back halfway first. As you exhale, smoothly bring the bum to the ground. Edging the feet together, toes and heels to touch. If your fingers are pointing away, turn your fingers so that they point towards the feet. All is well here, raise your shins towards parallel. Feels good, extending towards 45 degree. One arm and the opposite arm, Navasana. Focusing on the big toes. If this is challenging, bend the knees. If necessary, return to grounding the hands, or if required, alternate leg variation. No matter where you are, you're breathing. Focus on the toes. Any challenge in the lower back, please work with the earlier variations. Beautiful. All is well here. If necessary, bend your knees so you can grab your big toes and extend your legs straight. All is well. You can focus on the toes. If very comfortable, you can turn the gaze directly up towards the ceiling.
But note that you're not dropping the back of the head towards the upper back. Keep that length in the neck. Work more with just a slight tilt of the head upwards and then follow with the gaze the rest of the way. Breathe long and soft. That same engagement, base of pelvic, lower belly. Breathe. This feels good. No fight. Little by little begin to open up the legs. You can bend the knees as you need to. Little practice work towards straighter legs. If the wall is close, in my instance, you may need to bend the knee, but choose it as best. Focus on the point a little upward. If necessary, a little lower. Beautiful. Now, if this feels good, you're mindfully applying your practice. There's no fight. Keep the legs elevated, but cross your legs over in midair. Feels good, just like the start of your practice. Hug the thighs in towards the chest. Lift the spine. Feet can be grounded if necessary. No fight for your depth. If this feels good, keep the thighs relatively close to the chest as you can. Release your hands to be aside of the hips and then just a little bit of front. Now you can ground your feet and raise your hip. Feet grounded and raise, bum off the mat, really well. Keeping the thighs working towards the chest. You're very steady, you can lift off entirely, but don't fight, just for 2 breaths. Exhale, release. Roll on your back. Release and rest. End of your practice. Making all of the necessary adjustments as you come to the end of your practice. What way is required? What adjustments are required even to bring you into a position of effortlessness? Grabbing any blankets or coverings that assist in this effortlessness. Eyes closed and the mouth closed. And when you can feel, you start to get a real sense that the body is beginning to arrive. And all the movements beginning to subside. Now that you can release all of the weight of the physical body. Any unnecessary tension that may be still harboured within the nervous system. Any worry of the mind. Any stories or conversations that may be running through your mind that don't serve you can all be released into the earth. And it's all accepted. It's all supported. It's never too much. And safe in the knowledge that the body is held, the body is secure. Free of the burden of any tension, worry and weight. Set your attention free to rest at the very center of the belly, the navel. And with your awareness lightly resting here, note the body's reaction to the breath. Out of the deep stillness that now holds your body, become aware of the response at the navel. Noting on the inhale how the navel rises out of the stillness. And on the exhale, how the navel falls back into stillness. On the inhale, the navel rises. On the exhale, navel falls. 17. 16. 15. 14. 13. 12. 11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. I'm feeling deep down at the bottom of the breath, the even deeper essence of stillness to be experienced. A stillness in which resides a true, welcomed and authentic rest. Whole of the body is still, and the whole of the body is rested. Whole of the body is still, and whole of the body is rested. Note where you experience this rest the most. And reside there for a moment. Whole of the body is still. Whole of the body is rested. And as you allow the body to remain within this deep and nourishing and welcomed position of rest, just softly extend your awareness to be greater than the body. As your awareness extends beyond, allow it to transition to a more everyday awareness. This everyday awareness begins to influence your breath into being a little fuller, a little more conscious. Feel and experience how the breath awakens the body. It stirs the stillness. It begins its starting at the toes, fingers, up into the head and the neck. As your feet come softly back together, extending the arms up and over. Begin at your feet, point your toes, take your feet, take your legs, take a big inhale, belly, shoulder, fingers, bring the whole body. Exhale, release. Right arm remains extended, left hand to the belly, folding the left knee, and gently roll to your right. Come onto your side for a moment. Once you feel steady, push up to any seated variation. Eyes remain closed. And as you come to the end of your practice, take a moment to note any difference to the start to your practice, physical body or mind. Drawing your palms together, rubbing the palms. Placing the hands over the eyes. Extend the massage shows the eyes, the nose, the cheekbone, the hands a small distance away from the eyes. Gently blink the eyes open. Gaze into palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you had a good practice. Hope the rest of your day goes well. Look forward to seeing your next practice. Thank you.